Let's talk about bad knees. Okay, the good news about bad knees, okay, is bad knees can be fixed if you know how to fix them. Bad knees can be fixed. Okay, what knee is one of the scariest injuries you can get. One reason why is because it's so common in MMA. All the MMA guys, it's usually a knee. They pop a knee. It's such a scary thing. What is the best resource for fixing your knees? Swimming is very good for knees, yes, but it won't fix the problem. You can exercise every day. You know, you could swim every day. You'll never hurt your knees. But if you want to do MMA, I think the pool is a great resource to help to keep the body healthy. Absolutely, but I need to have good knees so I can do MMA. This guy, the question here is asked, what's the best MMA art I can do? You know, from all the MMA arts that are used in modern day MMA, what's the art that's the best for my knees? First thing of all, if Muay Thai is hurting your knees, or boxing is hurting your knees, or Jiu-Jitsu is hurting your knees, or wrestling is hurting your knees, something is wrong with your system, your body. Okay, we gotta fix the root of the problem, not avoid the sport we want to participate in. Okay, there are numerous false movements a human being can do that taxes the knees. Okay, so a lot of people, when I see them squatting, I see that they bend their knee above their toe, so their knee goes in front of their toe. So instead of sitting back, they're sitting forward, and this bending forward with your knees just crushes your patella. It just inflames the patella. Okay, it just stresses the patella. Whether you're doing it with weights or if you're doing it just body weight squats, you know, whatever motion you're doing that has to do with squatting, whether it's a lunge or a sprint, if your knee tracks over your toe, you're stressing the patella. Now, if your knee bows in, okay, you're hurting the ACL. You're injuring the ACL. Now, this book it's a big book, but it's really illustrations of the false movements. Okay, so he basically boils it down to two things. One, you need to have alignment. Okay, so when you're doing squats, you're running, you're lunging, you always must be in alignment. Okay. Second of all, you cannot have a tight system. You cannot have a tight muscle that's pulling you out of alignment. Okay, and then he talks about more sophisticated ideas like creating torque, etc. when you're under stress. And these are super important concepts. But the reason why your knees hurt is because you're using your body wrong. Gluteus medius not firing. That is also a problem. That also can be a very important problem. But why is the gluteus medius not firing? Because of your body mechanics. Your body mechanics are out of whack. Now, why are your body mechanics out of whack? A lot of people will trace it back to shoes and sitting in chairs and all these other things. Okay, we're not really doing natural movements all day long. So what happens is your body has these side effects that come from sitting in chairs and walking in shoes, especially those you know, those sneakers people wear today with the heel is so thick. What that does is it tilts you forward. Then you have to kind of lean back, etc. And then you're sitting in a chair all day. You ever see people in the third, like when I was in Thailand, what I loved about Thailand is they don't have any toilets. It's just a hole in the ground. And when you want to go to the bathroom, you have to squat. And they're great squatters. They squat beautifully. They squat like a newborn child. Have you ever seen a newborn child pick something up off the floor? They don't bend over like we do here in the West. They squat down like butt cheeks to the floor, and then they grab whatever item they want. That's what keeps your spine healthy, right? But we lose that range of motion because we're always sitting in chairs. Stretching, Andy, is very good. Stretching is very good, but Kelly goes farther than that. He calls it mobility work. Okay, and he goes into reasons why. I don't want to go into that tangent right now, but stretching is definitely good. It's just not the end all be all. We need alignment. Okay, we need alignment when we're moving, when we're lifting weights, when we're wrestling. We need to keep our body aligned. And second of all, second thing we need to keep our muscles loose. We don't want a tight muscle that's pulling us out of alignment. I'll give you a quick little, for instance, when I started researching, you know, a knee pain, I had credible knee pain just walking up the stairs. Now you have to understand, I was wrestling, you know, almost every single day, doing kickboxing every day, and I was walking up the stairs and I was in pain. So when I would go to the gym, you know, I have to walk 3 flights of stairs to go to the gym. I was starting my workout in pain, and this was really taxing mentally. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the feel, you know, I wasn't excited to train. Why? Because I was in so much pain. My body was aching. And Kelly Starrett had an incredible solution in his book that immediately alleviated my knee pain. I would say 20–30%. He was saying, look, when you walk up on a step, your knee cannot track over your toes and your knee has to point to the outside. Just this correction just this correction when I was going up the steps every day. Every time I would go up and down steps, I would turn my knee to the outside and I wouldn't let it track over my toe. My knee pain started dropping immediately. And, you know, 3-4 weeks later, I had no knee pain at all. And I was amazed. And he also goes around talking about how important it is to strengthen your hamstrings, because he says your hamstring is a second ACL. Now imagine somebody doing a clean and jerk, or let's talk about a snatch, okay? And that weight is on top of your head, okay? So you're holding a bar over your head. Just picture holding a bar over your head. What's holding the bar over your head? Well, there's your muscles, there's your bone structure, and there's your tendons, okay? Let's keep it really simple and mark it down to those three things. Now, if it's very light and your muscles can hold it, your muscles carrying the majority of the stress, right? And if you're well aligned, then your bones are carrying the stress. Your bones are carrying the stress. If you're unaligned or the weight is too heavy, some of that weight is going to end up on your tendons, and you don't want that, okay? That's a really bad, that's a faux pas. You don't want to stress, you don't want to put miles on the tendons, okay? So alignment, good, strong, healthy muscles, okay? Or of course, you don't want to lift heavier than what your musculature can carry, because then you're going to be carrying it on your joints, okay? My other recommendation for you guys is to check out Sports Science Lab. Sports Science Lab. I just typed it in. They have a great water program. They have a DVD that they put out there, Sports Science Lab. It's how to train in the pool. When George had ACL injuries, we put him in SSL. Okay, he lived in Orange County, California, and he did the program. His knees, Dominic Cruz did it. Lots of UFC fighters go to SSL. Lots of NFLers, lots of big name athletes, they go there. There's other great areas to go to, but they have a very nice DVD where they teach you how to train your body in the pool. Now, when you train your body in the pool, there's so many benefits. And one of them is that it loosens up the body. There's no eccentric load, so you will not have soreness or tightness, and you run very little risk of injuring your joints when you're in the pool, okay? So the point is that what is carrying the stress? Our muscles, that's okay. Our bones, that's okay. Our tendons, no, that's not okay. We don't want our tendons carrying any stress. Why? They don't rejuvenate, right? They don't rebuild. The bones rebuild. The bones get stronger when you put stress on them. You know, they say, I've read once that a racket player, the racket hand, the bone density in his racket hand is 300% more stronger. Why? Because he's constantly getting that shock of hitting the racquetball. So your bones get stronger under stress. People who lift weights will have stronger bones. People who stress their bone system, the bones rejuvenate themselves. The muscles rejuvenate themselves. Tendons, far less. So we want to, you know, save the wear and tear on the tendons. Okay, maximum. As nice as you can be on your tendons, that's what you want to do. You want to avoid wear and tear on your tendons. That's just it's a given. Gymnastics is great, okay? If you follow the rule, listen, I've worked firsthand with gymnasts. I've seen gymnasts also with bad form, okay? I have. They're generally speaking, a good gymnast trainer will have, he'll keep form paramount. Why? Because form is power. Form is power. Without good form, not only do you injure the body, but your power bleeds, okay? You bleed power. So we don't want to bleed power, right? We want to make sure that power is paramount, and I want to make sure that I'm always super well aligned. Let's say you hurt your shoulder, okay? Let's say, I don't know, you were wrestling, you did a double leg, and as you landed, you posted on the mat and you hurt your shoulder. And you're out. You're not wrestling anymore. You're not going to wrestle for 2-3 weeks. I would go into the gym and I would do like movement drills. I would do the Supple Leopard workout. I would do some of the, of course, not during the acute phase, okay? Not during the phase where it's super painful. I didn't do. Okay, I would do it later after a few days when the swelling goes down, depending how bad the injury is. Okay, you don't want to do it when there's acute pain. But discomfort during an exercise is very different than if I stop doing the exercise and I'm still in pain. So this is some advice that I've heard physiotherapists give, you know, throughout the years of working with so many physiotherapists. It's a rule of thumb that I learned to live by, and I think it really worked. It served me well. So if, let's say, that shoulder is bothering me and I don't feel comfortable wrestling, I think I'll injure myself. Okay, I'm maybe going to work with a band, or I'm going to work just some mobility exercises, and I'm going to do some work loosening my shoulder up. If I feel pain during the exercise, not too much pain, okay? If I'm feeling discomfort, let's call it discomfort. And when I stop the exercise, the discomfort disappears. I will continue doing that exercise. I think I'm creating blood flow. I think I'm creating, I'm allowing my lymph nodes to flush out inflammation, etc. Because lymph nodes need to be pumped. Okay, they need motion to remove inflammation, etc. But if I stop the exercise and the pain is still there and it's worse, and the inflammation seems to be increasing, I won't exercise it anymore. Okay, that's an acute signal. You don't want to touch that. So basically, keep this in mind. Okay, if during the exercise you're in a little bit of discomfort, keep doing it. If you stop the exercise and the discomfort is still there or getting worse, stop. It's too early. It's just too early for the joint to be worked. Kelly Starrett talks about how to run. He doesn't discuss the topic of how pose running, the technique of pose running. I suggest if you're gonna run, listen, all your exercises, including running, should be low impact exercises. As low impact as possible. If you're planning on training for life, minimize the impact. Impact is death to the joints. Okay, so that's why you're maybe having, now, that's why maybe you're having cartilage issues, but it could also be genetic. Okay, now, I train an orthopedic surgeon, and he tells me, look, some people it's just genetic. They're going to have bad knees whether they train or not. Some people, it's genetic. But this is a small amount of people. Most people have an average set of knees, and you can take care of these knees and use them for life. According to Kelly Starrett, he says your knees should last you 120 years if you use them correctly. I get back of the knee pain since doing BJJ. Okay, listen, you got knee pain in the back of your knee. That's not good. Okay, that's not good. Is probably a tight hamstring. Okay, now Kelly Starrett says, look, it's probably a tight hamstring. We don't know for sure if it's a tight hamstring. So he says, look, if you have pain in your knee, you got to treat the upstream and downstream. So you got to treat the muscles below the knee and above the knee. So he talks to you about all the muscles that are around your knee above and all the muscles that are below your knee and how to treat them all. Hit all the spots. Okay, so that's what he calls upstream and downstream. That's why I love the timtam. So this channel, by the way, is sponsored by timtam.tech. Timtam.tech is the world's most powerful handheld massager. Okay, now it's not a vibrating massage, it's a percussion massage. Some massagers just vibrate. They don't go deep into the muscle. They don't have a travel. Okay, it's called a travel. Timtam is the #1 for travel. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do with the timtam? Instead of rolling up and down on a lacrosse ball, which is good, it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's very good. Instead of going up and down on a foam roller, I got sick of rolling up and down on a foam roller. Why? Because I'd have to exercise for 30-40 minutes after I finished exercising. So I had to do my martial arts, my conditioning, and then I had to foam roll. It was just too long. Okay, so the foam roller to unlock a hamstring could take half an hour. With a timtam, I can unlock it in 2 to 3 minutes. With a timtam, I can unlock it to 2 to 3 minutes. So if you're a serious trainer, if you're training all the time and you want to keep your body healthy, you don't have the time to go to a physiotherapist. You don't have the time. You know, I go to a physio. I actually never use physio. Rarely. I've used physios in the past, and I use it with my athletes who have a chronic problem. But if I don't have a chronic problem, why would I need a physio? I just constantly maintain my body 2 to 15 minutes a day. I work on maintenance. And sometimes it's just 2 minutes. I just do 2 minutes. Keep my body healthy. I don't let the system get tight. I don't let the body get out of whack. I treat the problem immediately. Keeping the body aligned when it's under stress, when you're lifting weights, when you're wrestling, you got to keep the spine neutral. You got to keep the neck neutral. You got to create torque in your joints to protect your joints. And then you got to keep the musculature system loose. This is very, very important. So if you have pain in the back of your knee, don't wait till your knee pops or you tear something. Loosen it up. Okay, really important. If you have tight hamstrings, guys, according to Michael Kogan, most of the tight muscles in athletes is the legs. Most of your tight muscles in your body is the legs. Now what happens is they say because if you have a tight joint or a misaligned joint, the upper joint cannot be aligned because the lower joint is putting the whole system out of whack. So your neck could be aligned, okay? Your hips can be aligned. And then one day you have an injury or whatnot, your hips are out of line. Well, guess what? The joint on top of it, your neck, is also out of line because it has to counterbalance. So if your neck is out of whack, your neck is out of line, it doesn't mean your hips, it doesn't affect the joint below. But the joints below always affect the joints above. Okay, so then you have a compensation of some sort, and that creates to a chain of problems. Okay, now again, I'm not an expert in this. This is stuff I've been told. I've worked with so many physios. Every fighter, pro I train, usually comes with a physio guy. You know, and it's a wise thing. And I've worked with a lot of world-class physio guys. Now, this is the stuff that they've taught me over the years. Again, I'm not an expert, so if you have pain, chronic pain, go see an expert. But I have been my personal experience, I've been very successful keeping my body healthy by following the basic guidelines. And that's what Kelly Starrett says. He says, look, my book is the basic guideline to keeping your body healthy. It's the basics of physio. And I've gotten really good at the basics of physio. Now, if tomorrow I have a chronic problem, I'm going to go see a specialist.